We are over here at the Land Rover of Lehigh to look at the new OCTA Black. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below if you have any questions, need any help. Just as for Bradley, now the driving portion of this video is going to be me driving a different OCTA because we won't be driving this particular car. It's in the middle of the showroom. But anyways, let's take a look at it. This is your last chance to enter into the Bronco Raptor and Mustang Dark Horse giveaway, so use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment to get 4x bonus entries on any donation $25 or more. Starting under the hood of the OCTA, we have a twin-turbo 4.4 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic. It produces 626 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. It is a BMW sourced V8. And then, as always, if you want to see more reviews like this, just make sure you subscribe. When it comes to the Black Edition, you notice that, like most of these Black Edition packages that are coming out with different automakers, everything's blacked out. And I will say, I am getting a little bit tired of the all blacked out everything. Like, I do like it on cars, but just everyone seems to be releasing some sort of special edition that it's just black everything. It's like, let's get a little more creative, folks. Even the recovery point painted black, which is kind of funny, I think, because if you use the recovery point, it's painted like it's paint. Can't guarantee if the paint will probably come off, right? At least I think it might come off. Now this one has the street tire setup. You can get the OCTA with the off-road tires. Downside is that limits your top speed. But, I mean, with a big off-road SUV, are you really going to be going like 155 miles an hour? Really? Anyways, I like the venting on the side. And then you can see the boxy mirror caps. They do a really good job with the design on the new OCTA because it obviously has all the signature Defender things, but then with that wide body, it makes things look a little bit more aggressive. Got the OCTA logo there on the side. And then again with the beefy fenders. I guess they're kind of like fender flares technically, but then you have like another little fender flare on it too. Sorry, the fake plant in the dealership got in the way a little bit there with that shot. Try to give you guys kind of a side view, but yeah, just look at like how aggressive that is with the wide body. I wasn't sold on it initially, but it's grown on me. Now this has the new flush taillights that all the Defenders have, and you have the swing gate in the back, which I'm a huge fan of the swing gate personally. I think it's a really cool feature. You can see with the rear, you can raise and lower the air suspension just with a couple of buttons. Definitely a useful tool. And so you got the floor mats and everything. They always put everything in the back of the cars, which I think is funny, but at least they give you rubber floor mats, right? And when it comes to spacing here in the rear, you can see the Alpine windows kind of make it feel more open. It's not a massive vehicle. I mean, the Defender in like lengthwise is barely bigger than a Wrangler, but being unibody, it uses that space a lot better than something like a Wrangler that's body on frame with a cage inside. So like even though dimension-wise it's not super big, it feels really big inside. And yeah, overall, I mean, again, they had the subtle design element changes with this, just like the other Defenders. And I think it's, like I said, it's kind of grown on me. The Defender interior, they just knocked out of the park. Materials are really nice. Everything just feels durable or premium. They have this kind of like little protection plate there at the bottom, which I thought was kind of cool. And yeah, the seats, same thing. They have that durable premium feel to them. The OCTA does get the special seats, especially up front. They have like the front seats have like a special thing with the sound system where they'll kind of like vibrate with the music and everything. Definitely a gimmick. And you know, you got to add gimmicks when you have a car that's like $170,000, right? But yeah, you guys saw the climate zone for the rear passengers. Got a panoramic center from the back, or for the whole car rather. And then up front, again, all the nice trim. You got blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. It's going to have modern safety tech. They have added a little bit of safety tech, more safety tech with the new Defenders. Got memory seats with it as well. And the Meridian sound system I think is pretty good. Now, still not a huge amount of payload, less than 1,000 pounds. That's one thing that Land Rover could improve, is making it so the cars have a bit more payload capacity for people that do off-road stuff. But 90% of, probably 99% of Land Rover people, at least first owners, never take them off-road. So not a huge deal. But yeah, really nice trim around the steering wheel. You got, again, look at the mix. Like, you have some buttons and everything that look very durable and rugged, and then other stuff like the little OCTA mode button kind of has a more premium look to it. And then you do have the full digital gauge cluster. It's a simple system. I think it's aged really well. I mean, Land Rover came out with the system, like back in 2020-ish, and I think it still looks good to this day. They did a good job with the graphics where it doesn't, look bad or anything like that. Heads-up display. And then you got the 360 camera system, which everyone's copying now. It's so funny. I remember the first time I saw this was, I think it was with the new Defender. And now everyone has like a 360 with different viewpoints and, you know, shows underneath the vehicle and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, lots built into the infotainment system, but the Defender still has a lot more physical controls compared to other new Land Rover models, which is great. The screen though itself is very responsive. So easy to use system with all of that. And I would say that, yeah, tech-wise, it's really good. And I do like the performance stuff they've added into the infotainment system for the OCTA. That kind of goes with the overall theme. Still have a little shifter there, and then, yeah, a bunch of physical controls. So for, like, the air suspension, we also have for the hill descent control, your low range, and then I like the multifunction climate controls, also controls the drive modes, the heated and cooled seats. Again, they have a nice finish on them. And then you got plenty of storage. Again, with unibody construction, it leaves a lot of space inside because you don't have a frame pushing everything up. Cool box center console too, of course, and goes back. One of the best center consoles out there, I would say. And you've got the grab handle right there with more kind of like rugged / nice trim. Camera rear view mirror with this as well. And then again, you've got a more premium headliner with this version. But yeah, here's the window sticker on this OCTA black. So I guess it's not black edition, it's just black. That's what they call it, because they got to keep things simple. Yeah, sorry about the camera focus in this video. It's really hard with the showroom lighting. But yeah, you can see over $170,000 for the MSRP. So now let's get to driving a different OCTA, but again, it'll drive the same as this OCTA. Well, let's finally set off in the Defender OCTA. Gonna have an auto first, then we'll put it in the fun driving mode after. So if you guys follow the channel, I considered going all out, selling most of what I own car-wise, and doing a long-term test on one of these, and I still go back and forth because, you know, although this is not like a super relatable car because it's expensive, I do think for like YouTube content, sometimes going and taking something like this and just beating the absolute crap out of it, kind of fun. As long as it gets enough views to pay off, which I don't know if it would or not anymore. But I will say I also just really like Defenders. Even though we had not the best experience with our inline 6 Defender, it's just such a cool car. It looks great, and when it comes to the driving experience, it has this, you know, kind of tank-like feel you get in a G-Wagon, that you get in a Toyota Land Cruiser, but then it actually handles well on like those vehicles because it's unibody and has independent suspension. So it's kind of like you get the best of both when it comes to on-road handling. Now, one downside with this being unibody and independent, well, more unibody than independent suspension, is when you go over a bump, it transfers through the whole car. And so you really feel big bumps. Little bumps and everything, like it's more comfortable than, again, something like a Land Cruiser or a G-Wagon. But over the big bumps, it kind of goes to the chassis more, so you feel it more in that sense. This handles really well. Like, it has basically no body roll for a, I mean, this is like a 6,000 pound SUV. It's quite impressive, actually. And it's, I mean, it's got thick glass. It's pretty well insulated. You're gonna get a little bit of wind noise at higher speeds, but it's not bad. If you get the roof rack, it'll be a bit noisier. Man, it's weird. In this normal mode, this thing just drives like a luxury car, basically. I mean, that's what it is. These body and soul seats are pretty comfortable. I think I kind of want the bolsters out a little bit, though. Did I just hold that? Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a little bit too tight. Can I do lumbar in anymore? Oh, it's maxed out. I feel like the seat still pokes out in the middle a little bit. Guess it'll force you to have better posture. Whoa! Yeah, that rips. I mean, I expected that, right? This is BMW's twin turbo V8 that's got wonderful power. So the thing that's nice about this engine is obviously crazy power, but it's also smooth on the low end. So like when you're just tooting around, you have a wave of low end torque that just carries you through everything. Yeah, it's quite impressive. I kind of wish that we got a red light, but we got green light both ways, which is lucky for like driving through a place, but also I would have liked to get another little acceleration there. Do we have anyone behind this? Let's kind of slow down here a little bit because we don't have anyone driving behind us. Yeah, there's still no one there. Oh! This thing rips. This thing rips. So here's my thoughts after finally driving the OCTA. This gives you, I would say, a better luxury experience than G-Wagon. You've got a bigger interior, you've got stuff like the cool box center console. Like, it kind of has all the stuff that a Land Cruiser has in terms of the interior amenities and then space, which is really nice. Again, one of the Land Cruisers, right? That's like the OG in terms of, like, you know, basically the best kind of off-road SUV out there. It's got tons of power. It's got the performance. It handles better than a G-Wagon. So basically you're getting space like a Land Cruiser, performance like a G63, but handling that's better than both of those because it's unibody and independent suspension. It's kind of like a SVR, that's not an SVR, but you know, SVR Sport, but it's off-road instead of being, you know, kind of on-road only. I mean, I guess you can take an SVR off-road if you wanted to, but they, you know, they put like 23-inch wheels on those things nowadays, so they don't expect people to really necessarily take them off-road. So this is an impressive machine, and it's a lot less expensive than a G63. And you know, you can't say the G63 is reliable. I see those things in the service department all the time for being broken down. So I think that if you look at this, again, I said this in the first review and this clarifies it. I will say the engine isn't quite as fire-breathing as the AMG engine in terms of like the noise. The AMG engine definitely has a little bit more character to it noise-wise. But yeah, I mean, $150,000 versus the average G63 is like 200, 210 plus dealer markup. This doesn't have dealer markup on it. This is a better value. You can't tell me a G63 is $50,000 to $100,000 more car depending on the dealer markup. It's not. Let me know your thoughts.